Well, the work that I kind of do today that was born out of a side hustle. And it was a side hustle that was thrust upon me. Like I didn't go out seeking the side hustle. People who I volunteered with would reach out to me and say, "Tamika, would you update our LinkedIn profile and resume? I'll pay you for it." And it's like, okay. And I'd raise my price and they'd keep paying. And it was just like, huh, interesting. So I just did that on the side while I was working my other jobs.
Welcome to Unbound, conversations about what happens when the version of you that made you successful is no longer enough. I'm Lori Darley, and I work with high performers, athletes, executives, creators who are facing the question, who am I when I'm not that anymore? Because success doesn't prepare you for what comes next. Today's conversation is about discovering who you are beyond what you do. Hello, everyone. Our guest today was an NCAA Division III basketball player at McMurry University in Abilene, Texas, who made her way with no safety net. Nobody was coming to save her. So she learned to save herself. She carried that instinct into a decade at a Big Four firm, then to the top of the telecom giant running global programs. And then she did the thing that terrifies every high performer with a good title. She walked away and bet on herself. Today, she runs her own firm, and get this, she is a top 5 sales navigator expert on the entire planet, and she calls her edge digital swagger. I love that so much. But here's what I want to talk about. Not the swagger she sells, the swagger she had to have to rebuild. When the jersey came off, the corporate badge came off, and it was just her and a blank page. Tamika Brunetti found her way. Tamika, welcome to Unbound.
Well, thank you for having me, Lori. I'm so honored to be here.
Well, it's an honor for me to be with you. I can't remember. Actually, I can remember we met over a year ago at a conference entitled Verve, and we both are fans of Suzanne Castle, and I was so glad that her conference brought us together. So it's been a joy kind of discovering one another over this past year. So Tamika, tell everyone who you are today. How would you describe yourself today?
Well, the Tamika of today is a woman who brings joy to every room she walks in. I am creative. I am a nerd. I build Lego sets. I I collect planners, paper planners and stickers and all the things. And yeah, and I try my best to do what I say I'm going to do.
What a beautiful way of expressing yourself. A lot of people say, well, I'm a this or I'm a that. And I love how you actually are already sort of relating to all the ways in which you use your energy and show up in the world. So thank you for that. I have a few hobbies myself, like stand-up comedy and improv. And, I was like, you just never know what's going to happen around here. So you built your first, thank you. You built your first business after 20 years in corporate. So what's lighting you up right now?
What lights me up is the opportunity to be able to help people who are, let's just say, we'll call them digital introverts, just get comfortable with showing up. Because I don't know, you probably don't think this, but I am an introvert.
Surprise. That's a surprise. It is. I mean, you've definitely expanded your capacity.
Yes, I have. So I definitely will have to, like, after a day of events, I have to recharge, and it may take me 2 or 3 days before you see me again. But it's one of those things where it takes a lot out of me. And yeah, I just enjoy helping those folks come out, because I used to be a digital introvert. Now I would share the messaging that the company that I was working for at whatever time would give us. But then it got to a point where it's like, wait. What about my thoughts? What about my feelings, my knowledge? I went to college. I got a master's. I did all this. Let's talk about those things, right? And so then I switched my perspective on social media, primarily LinkedIn. And I really just enjoy helping people have those aha moments when they're like, oh, I can do that? Yes, you can.
So good. So I love this. We're going to get into your current life more in depth here in a second. But if I can, I'd love it if you take me back to McMurray. What did it mean to be a D3 player, and what was that experience like?
So,
How is their mindset different than other divisions?
okay, so let's start there. So the mindset
Yeah.
of a D3 athlete versus your D2 or your D1 is you're not getting your education paid for, right? You were there on your own accord. Yeah, you had talent, but something might have happened along the way. For instance, I was being recruited by a Division 1 team, and then I broke my foot at the beginning of conference play my senior year in high school. There went that.
Mm.
So McMurray came through, and they were like, "We would love to have you." I'm like, "I would love to be with y'all."
Okay, so you were being scouted as a D1. You broke your foot. What was that moment like for you? Do you remember what you were telling yourself? Could you? I know it's a yesterday or two ago,
Right?
right? Trust me, I know.
Wow. I hadn't really thought about that day in quite some time, but I will say I can still hear the break
Yeah.
moment that my foot broke because I was shooting a three-pointer and I landed on a gal's foot. So, my orthopedic surgeon later is like, "Oh, you had some sort of splint or beforehand. For you to have a break like that, it was something already, building up."
Hmm.
And so that moment was a moment.
Yeah.
Like,
So did the doctor tell you you would never be able to really play at higher levels of competition, or did that who told you? Was it you, or was it outside influences that told you that that was pretty much the end of a possible, at least collegiate career? Or
I think I was pretty mature enough to know that I wasn't going to make a career out of basketball in that moment,
okay,
or just in general. But in that
okay.
moment, solidified the thought that, yeah, that's not going to be a career.
Okay. All right. So you had a sense of realism at that point, and your body was telling you, girl, I know for myself, when I
Yeah.
got dropped on my head, it was like, this is the sign. This is the thing that I really need to pay attention to. So just for a minute, what did basketball give you that you still carry?
Man, basketball gave me some incredible memories. It gave me this sense of always feeling the need to be in a team. I may not be in a team on a daily basis, but I'm part of different groups, so I get my team aspect, team feeling from those.
Yeah. Mm.
It really helped me with, the say do ratio, right? You say one thing, you do another, because on a team, you all have a role to play. And so if you don't do your part, then you screw the other folks on the team. And you don't want to be that person that screws the rest of the team, right? So that say do ratio, as well as natural leadership, being able to uplift someone when they're down and you might be down, but you're helping someone else really
Yeah.
show up, whether it's that silent leadership or actual vocal leadership.
Mm.
That was definitely a result of playing team sports all these years.
There's something really beautiful about that camaraderie and the structure of your day when you're playing or you're rehearsing for something. And you also shared with me that there was a time when you literally had to pivot away from your sport. Take me there. And what was that?
So remember in high school, my senior year, I broke my foot. So fast forward to the summer between my junior year and senior year of college, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I had been having knee pains, and so I had to
Mm.
have surgery on my knee. Let's just say rehab didn't go the way it should have went because during Hell Week, which is the first time that players can be in the gym with the coaches before the season starts, and we were doing these basic drills, just down one way, left-handed layup, the other way, left-handed layup. Everybody had to make both before you could move on to the next,
Yeah.
to the right
Yeah.
hand, right?
Yeah.
And as one of three seniors, I started the line. I go, I missed the layup. Very
Mm.
first one.
Mm.
Dang knee. So, get back in line, start over. Missed it again. Just kept missing, kept missing. Finally, I made it. I rebound or went to the other end. I made it that one, rebounded the ball, walked over to my coach, and I just said, "It's been real." And I walked out.
My my gosh, how heartbreaking. What a
At that
moment.
moment, it was just like, as I was doing those layups, like, you're the senior. You're supposed to be dependable. But your body is saying, girl, get somewhere and sit down.
Oh my God. How old were you then?
I was 21.
You're 21. Isn't it weird to feel so old at 21?
Well,
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
in that moment, it was, girl, get somewhere and sit down and go to class. Because as an athlete, a collegiate athlete, when your season is, at its height, you are never there. You're on a charter bus going somewhere, you're on a plane going somewhere. So I actually saw that as an opportunity to get to know my professors and to catch up on what it was that I probably had been missing. Like,
Wow. I love that.
I
What a beautiful
remember,
time. Yeah. You expanded even in that moment of contraction.
yeah, because the season before, my junior year season, I remember, I don't know who we were playing, but we were up by a pretty large amount. And I knew I wasn't going back in the game. And so I asked the assistant coach, I was like, hey, do you mind if I go to organizational behavior tonight? And she's like, when is that? After the game, I was like, no, it's going on right now. It's like,
I'm late.
yeah. She said, she looked at the score, she looked at me, looked at the coach, she's like, see you tomorrow. And I left. And my professor, I'll never forget her, Dr. LaPointe. I sat in the back row, and she's like, Tamika, you have graced us with your presence.
Oh, it was trying to shame you.
But
Yeah.
it was my decision to go.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
think those thoughts that I had, in my senior year were born out of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. You're a quick study. I got to say that. But I am curious, was there anything that you were afraid you be or show up as without basketball? Was there a future that you might be afraid of without basketball being in it? Or were you just like full steam ahead?
No, there definitely was a moment because, again, I was so used to going places with a group all the time, right? Now I'm walking to class by myself because they're on trips and doing all the things, or in practice. I'm eating by myself, not with a team. And so losing that title, student athlete, and just becoming a student was a mental struggle for a little bit there. And even as I, graduated and became an working adult, not having that athlete still, it was just a nagging thing. Like, they don't see me as an athlete though. I know I'm an athlete.
Mm.
So yeah.
So did you keep up any kind of regimen? So you then entered corporate life right off the bat?
Uh-huh. I graduated in May, had a job in June. It wasn't the job that I was like, oh, I'm going to retire doing this, but
Right. Yeah.
I needed a job. So I moved to Dallas, and I've been in Dallas ever since because of that move. And it was just a stepping stone. I changed my hours to 7 to 3 because it was 8 to 5. But I quickly learned that if I just ate through lunch, I could leave early.
The economist in you.
That, and then if I went in an hour earlier, I could get more things done in the evening.
Huh.
So I would get in at 7, knock out all my work before my coworkers got there, and sit on Google the rest of the day. And then I'd go run errands and do what I want in the afternoon.
Wow, that's not too shabby. That's a nice lifestyle right there. So you spent my gosh, I remember flexible hours. I think I started at 4 or 5 hours for a part-time job, and they finally had to let me go when I would only say, I can only come in for an hour.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went from $5 an hour to $12 an hour, which was a lot of money in the 80s for a kid who was just like pulling staples and filing invoices. But anyway, that's my story. This is your story. You spent 20 years of corporate all over the place. What was the thread that was always there with you underneath all those job titles?
Ooh, thread. I would have to say that I was always just a team athlete. Every project team, every functional team, every team that traveled together, I was always in that type of environment. Not necessarily, you're an individual contributor, but you're part of a team and you have a very specific role in that project. Yeah. Which is very, very much like basketball. I had a very specific role on every time I was on the court. So the team aspect. That's a thing that is threaded through everything I've done. So being where I am today is whew, totally different.
Tell me about that transition. So you've had your first mountain as, in college. Your second mountain is kind of that corporate life and figuring out all the ways in which corporations can both lift us up and screw us up in terms of the politics and all of that. What was that early inkling of moment when you're like, there's something else here for me, and then the decision to actually go off on your own, build your own business?
Well, the work that I kind of do today that was born out of a side hustle. And it was a side hustle that was thrust upon me. Like I didn't go out seeking the side hustle.
Uh-huh.
Friends, people who I volunteered with would reach out to me and say, Tamika, would you update our LinkedIn profile and resume? I'll pay you for it. And it's like, okay. And I'd raise my price and they'd keep paying. And it was just like, interesting. So I just did that on the side while I was working my other jobs. And then the summer of 2024, I was actually laid off from another company. And my husband came into my she shed and asked me when I was going to turn my side hustle into a full-time business. And in that moment,
so it was introduced to you by your husband. Interesting. That's cool.
I hadn't thought about it. I had
not even? Wow.
No, I was just going to get through my feelings and, find something else. But no, he was like, why don't you? And I thought to myself, why am I not doing this?
Well, what about it was lifting you up? Your husband must have seen something like a passion or something in you that spoke eons to him about what was possible for you and your passion and all that. What was that like for you? How did you start to, let that kind of simmer and brew within you?
Well, the fact that he even said that or asked me meant the world to me because he's very observant. And, I didn't have to ask anyone's permission to do it. It was just a matter of that's what I'm going to do. It was that moment where I really decided that I was going to bet on myself. So think of it as, all right, I broke a foot. I had knee surgery that didn't go so well. The knee surgery was fine, but the rehab didn't go well. And now I got laid off. So this is the next chapter.
What did you have to let go of to be the person that, the woman who's running her own thing now? What did you have to claim and what did you have to let go of?
I don't know if I've actually done that yet, because a part of me misses corporate America because I miss the team. I miss that whole aspect of work. And Buddy and Barkley can only give me so much teamwork. Those are my dogs, and they are asleep on the job right now.
Down those dogs! She has the cutest, most snuggle bunny kind of dogs, y'all. I just wanted you to know that her dogs are just magnificent beauties.
But yeah, it was that whole team aspect is the part that I miss, and I really do feel like I need because the structure, the day of an entrepreneur is they're never the same. In the morning, you want to quit. By lunch, you're doing great. It's all the afternoon. You're expanding. It's just it's all the ups and downs in one day. And coming from someone who was on teams that did very well, the ups and downs, that's a lot to experience in one day when you were used to maybe, I don't know, you go on a 15-game winning streak, lose a game, but then you go on a 10-game winning streak, so yeah, that's the part that
the adrenaline rush and the winning and all of the stats that you accumulate and identify with and all of that. But what would it look like if you built a team inside this LinkedIn business?
Oh, I have been thinking about that quite often lately. And I don't know that my team would actually be the same type of team I'm used to. This would be more of you're taking some of my responsibilities and you're handling it, but it doesn't mean that their part needs to happen in order for me to do what I'm doing, right? They're handling the administrative piece.
Yeah.
And then in most cases, they would probably be virtual.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I have worked with virtual teams, but the virtual teams that I've been on, the engagements were so long that you got to know each other to a point as if you had already met each other in person,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yes, that's a key piece right there. I'm glad you named that.
Yeah. I don't know how else to envision the team, because I'd be the coach versus a player. And I've never been the
Yeah, interesting. It sounds like a whole other podcast. Maybe we can explore that. We can make it happen right here. We're going to bring in partners. We're going to bring in, yeah, whatever. Anyway,
all things. Yes.
all the things. I love to go on those creative rants, but you learned a discipline as an athlete. How does it show up in how you're building on LinkedIn today? And then I have a really important question that I wasn't planning on asking. I think I'm going to ask it first,
Okay,
and maybe instead of.
ask that one.
Weeks ago, we couldn't meet because some friends of yours were faced with a challenge. And I don't want to name it because I don't, it's not my job to name it. But what was it that pulled you in that moment to do what you did? That sounds really cryptic, but I'm just going to let you.
It is very cryptic, but at least I'm following. So I don't mind sharing what happened.
I should have cleared that first, but anyway, thank you.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear it.
So one of the companies that I worked at along the way has experienced layoffs I think they've experienced layoffs their entire existence, right? Yearly, but they have become more frequent. So on July the 1st, a whole bunch of folks, so I want to say somewhere between 600 and 800 people were work free. Work free is the phrase that
Oh gosh,
that's
the term they use.
Yes. So they were work free. And I had, right before I saw that post on LinkedIn, another friend locally texted me and said that they were in shock. They were now work free. So I was getting it from, real life and the digital space. And in that moment, I decided that I wanted to do what I could do to help. I'm just one person. And so I put out there that I was going to host a 2-hour LinkedIn Ask Me Anything session for anybody. It was completely free. There's no sales behind it. It's just come ask your questions and I'll help you. And I ended up doing 3 of those.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. And what was the impact on them?
Gosh, there was one gentleman that he sent me a direct message, and was like, my mindset totally changed after your session. Now it's no more of woe is me. Now it's, you're going to hear about who I am. You're going to hear about what I bring to the table. I was like, yes.
All right. Oh man, that is what a beautiful parachute.
Yes.
You offered people. It's such a critical moment. And that really landed with me when you shared a little bit more fully what was happening. And I think it just really is a beautiful example of who you are.
Thank you.
In the world. And you think about LinkedIn and business, and we're all very, left-brained in that moment, but we can never forget that the people who are inside of, whether it's an entrepreneurial venture, a social impact venture, or the biggest of all, corporate people, it's people that are running things. And, quite frankly, in this AI age, we've got to make sure that we, even for the introverts, that we remember that we rely on each other. We are pack animals. And it's such a challenging thing to see our brothers and sisters have to go through that. And, we'll see how all this unfolds. But for the athletes listening who may be thinking about going out on their own, whether that's financially, in service, sales, whatever, what would you say to them? What might make or break them? What would your thoughts be for them?
I would offer that any student athlete looking to make that change to do what they can to keep that team environment intact. And now, not when I was coming up, all this technology, so there's no reason why you cannot stay in touch with each other, right? I let life get in the way. I let my career get in the way of me maintaining the relationships that I have built over those years.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that. That's significant. Yeah.
You're taught from a young age to climb the ladder. The ladder. So
keep going.
People reach out. You want to come to such and such's baby shower? I can't is busy season. Everything was busy season. Because you got a
Yeah.
tech deadline and all these things. And so I basically self-selected myself. I guess is that what I'm trying to say? I guess so. Over everybody else. And I really do believe now, as I'm older and had time to reflect on it, is if I would have kept those relationships where they were and, kept fostering those over the years, there's no telling where I would be. Beyond, it would be somewhere beyond my wildest dreams if I just kept that intact. Just a little bit, even just a little bit.
Yeah, I think, as in our younger years, I thought I didn't think I would ever die. I was like, well, yeah, y'all die, but I'm not going to die. Maybe I'm exaggerating just a little bit, but, that's kind of the attitude of in your 20s and 30s. You're feeling your mojo, and I was always looking ahead. I'm not a past-based person at all. And so, and it takes two to tango, right? There's mutual responsibility and commitment to keep those relationships alive, not to let you off the hook. I mean, but you got to give yourself a little bit of grace just in terms of we're all doing that, right? And there just comes a time in life when you go, wow, and I can start now. We're just going to start now.
I think that's why I'm so big on relationships now, is because of that void. And so everything that I do, if I go to an event, go to a conference, I could have spent $1,000 to go somewhere. If I don't feel the vibe, I leave at that moment. I don't force it. I just leave. Because I need my energy to be with the people that it needs to be with, not the people who I don't need to be with for life.
I love that so much, Tamika. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, what is it? Your spider sense?
Yes, my spider senses.
Right. And when the hackles, when you feel that in your back. Okay, we're going to do a fast break. I'm going to give you a couple of words, and you respond with one word or a short phrase, and you can throw a challenge flag which says skip. All right. Real quick. Morning person or night owl?
Neither.
I love you so much. Me either. I'm a mid-afternoon girl. All right. Game day or practice? Medal or the memory?
Memory.
Home crowd or away crowd?
Home crowd.
No doubt. The title you had or the name your friends call you?
The name my friends call me.
Comfort or growth?
Growth.
Who you were or who you're becoming?
Who I'm becoming, hands down.
Okay. And one word for who you're becoming.
More.
Love that. So if you could stand in front of every athlete one season from their last whistle, what's the one thing you'd want them to know?
It's not over. You can, like I was saying earlier, you keep those relationships going. Y'all can reminisce, all the time, but it's not over. Your next act, your next play, if you will be even more incredible than what you're about to walk into.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's a lot to think about. And something that I think applies to athletes or anyone going through any kind of transition, that nobody gets to the top of the mountain by themselves. It always takes the Sherpa, the animals, the ropes, the people who know how to handle all that stuff. So if I may take just a short moment, Tamika, and just do a little what's coming. Here's the thing, everything that Tamika just shared, thing about that. You don't have to figure it out alone, and you don't have to figure it out someday. On Thursday, August 27th, and hopefully we can get this edited in time, I'm hosting the Unbound Hour, 1 hour live, where we do the actual work, looking at the identity you've outgrown and the one that's trying to emerge. It's free, it's real, and it's the fastest way to feel what this is instead of just hearing about it. So if anything in this conversation landed for you, that's your invitation. I'd love to see you there. And we'll make sure that you get that comment in the post. So Tamika, with all my heart, I just am loving all of this unfolding that we're doing together. And thank you so much for your time and for being here today.
No, thank you for having me, and thank you for helping me realize that I am more than just a title. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much. All right. We'll see you on the other side. Ciao. Sometimes growth means creating a completely new game plan for your life. So if something in this conversation resonated with you, I invite you to open the Unbound Compass, a map designed to help you see where you are what's shifting, and where you may be ready to expand next. Your old game plan got you here successfully, and the Unbound Compass helps you discover what comes next. It only takes about 5 minutes, and as always, thank you for joining us, and I hope to talk with you soon.